Hello everyone, this is part 11 of What If Naruto Was the Child of the Moon in Percy Jackson, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
The sun was setting on another day. Cabin 7's glow was dying down and Cabin 8 was starting to light up. But these cabins were empty. All of the cabins were empty. Everyone was currently in the amphitheater. Everyone stared at the newcomers. From the head table, the familiar voice of the camp director, Dionysus, drawled out to them, "Peter Johnson, my millennium is complete." Percy gritted his teeth. "Percy Jackson, sir." Yes, that's what I said," Mr. D said with disinterest. "So, that's the QB brat." A new face whispered to Mr. D's ear. "They have seen this guy before, just not here at camp." Well, Naruto and Percy saw him in the fields of punishment from afar, but they still saw him. This man was pale and horribly thin. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit with the numbers 0001 in the pocket. He had blue shadows under his eyes, dirty fingernails, and badly cut gray hair. His facial expression was angry, frustrated, and hungry all at the same time. This was Tantalus, Mr. Johnson's companion. "Yes. Father is wary of him," Mr. D answered. "And the other one is Poseidon's brat?" The Tantalus asked again. Mr. D nodded as he sipped his Diet Coke. "Ah, yes," Tantalus said. "Them." He cleared his throat. "I am Tantalus. I am on special assignment here until further notice from Lord Dionysus here. I hope you two don't cause any trouble here." "Trouble?" Percy's anger flared. "Yes, Mr. Johnson." Mr. D waved his hand. A newspaper appeared on the table. There was a picture of Meriwether Prep in flames on the front page. "This was your doing, yes?" "No, you brah." Before Percy could finish that sentence, Naruto covered his mouth and answered for him. "Of course not, Mr. D." "Mr. Uzumaki," Tantalus said as soon as he heard the shinobi's voice. "I know your little secret. I trust that you will keep the Q." A kunai whizzed past the new activities director's head, impaling itself on one of the posts. "I wouldn't recommend agitating him if I were you," Mr. D warned him. "Oh, Lord Dionysus, what's there to worry about?" Tantalus waved him off. "He won't harm me, will you, Mr. Uzumaki?" Naruto clenched his fist, but he didn't want to pick this fight. Tantalus wouldn't hesitate to reveal his secret if he did. Instead, he turned away and went to his mother's table, making Tantalus smirk. Annabeth looked at him in worry, while the others warily looked at him. A satyr inched forward and nervously placed a plate of barbecue in front of the Tantalus. He licked his lips. "Finally, some food," Tantalus said, but he sounded unsure. "Root beer. Barks Special Stock. 1967. His hands inched forward, hesitating to grab his goblet. "Go on, old fellow," Mr. D said. "Perhaps now it will work." Tantalus grabbed for the glass, but it scooted away before he could touch it. A few drops of root beer spilled, and Tantalus tried to dab them up with his fingers, but the drops rolled away like quicksilver before he could touch them. He growled in frustration and turned toward the plate of barbecue. He picked up a fork and tried to stab a piece of brisket, but the plate skidded down the table and flew off the end, and committed suicide in the bronze brazier. Tantalus complained, "Phoo." A random sneeze among the campers censored his curse. "Language," Mr. D commented. Then, he added full sympathy to his voice. "Perhaps your curse needs a few more days before it could fade away. Believe me, old chap, working in this camp is torture enough. Eventually, Tantalus muttered, but he wasn't looking at the god of wine. "Do you know how dry one's throat gets when he hasn't had anything to drink in the last 1,000 years? You," Percy said after a moment of realization. Tantalus smirked. "You recognize me, boy. You're the spirit from the fields of punishment," Percy said. "The one with the fruit tree hanging over you, but you can't eat or drink. A real scholar, aren't you, boy?" Tantalus sneered. "You must have done something really horrible to be sent there," Percy said, mildly impressed with himself. Tantalus's eyes narrowed. The satyrs behind him were waving at Percy, warning him to stop what he was doing. "I'll be watching you, Percy Jackson. You too, Naruto Uzumaki, I know you're listening," Tantalus said. "I don't want any problems at my camp." Naruto wisely remained silent. And Percy, well, he didn't get the message the satyrs were signaling him. Your camp already has problems, sir. Mr. D sighed. Oh. Will you sit down, Johnson? I believe that's your table over there, the one where no one sits. Percy's anger was burning, but he followed Naruto's example and decided not to fight back. Come on, Tyson, he said to his friend. Oh no, Tantalus stopped him. That monster stays here. We must decide what to do with it. Him, Percy corrected. He has a name, you know. It's Tyson. Tantalus raised his eyebrows. Tyson saved the camp, sir, Percy insisted. He pounded the bulls. Only because you ignored one of them, someone from the crowd shouted. That's not the point, Percy shouted back. And what a pity it would have been if it destroyed the camp, Tantalus said. Mr. D snickered. Leave us, the new activities director ordered. While we decide the creature's fate. Percy glared at Tantalus, but he was too busy trying to grab his food. He, then, turned to Tyson and said, Don't worry, big guy. We're just right here. We'll find you someplace to sleep tonight. I believe you. You are my friend, Tyson said. Tyson's words made Percy feel guilty. He just nodded and trudged onto his father's table. As was customary, the campers filed in front of the brazier to offer to the gods before they started eating. Naruto and Percy sat down to eat half-heartedly. Even the ramen in front of Naruto couldn't cheer the shinobi up. Once the campers were back in their seats, the activities director had a satyr blow a conch horn. Yes, well, Tantalus announced. Another fine meal. Or so I am told. As he spoke, his hand inched closer towards his refilled dinner plate, like it wouldn't notice him. He was wrong. His hands were 6 inches from the food when the plate shot itself right across the table. And on my first day of authority, he continued. I'd like to say what a pleasant form of torture it is to be here. I hope to I mean interact with you, children. You look good enough to eat. Mr. D clapped politely, while the rest of the camp gave half-hearted applause. Tyson, who was standing by the head table, tried to hide behind the posts, but every time he did so, Tantalus always pulled him back. Now, some changes, a crooked smile appeared on his face. As of tomorrow, the chariot races are reinstituted. Some of the campers protested while others were excited by the news, still, others remained silent, the fear evident in their eyes. Tantalus cleared his throat. Now I know these races were discontinued some years ago due to technical problems. 3 deaths and 26 mutilations, someone from the Apollo cabin said. Yes, Tantalus spoke further. But I know you will all join me in welcoming the return of one of the camp's traditions. The first race will be in 3 days. We will release you from your regularly scheduled activities so you can prepare for the race. Now, Naruto wasn't really listening to Tantalus's speech, but when he heard that all activities were suspended to prepare, he spoke up. What about defending the camp? Claris stood up with him and said, yeah. What about border patrol? Tantalus waved him off. I'm sure nothing untoward will happen as you, children, prepare. The campers weren't convinced by the activities director's words, but what he said next got them on board, no questions asked. Did I mention the winner gets no chores for the month? There was an explosion of excited chatter. For real? Travis asked from the Hermes table. Yes, Tantalus nodded. In addition to that, the winners would get to wear golden laurels. The chatter turned into cheering. Nobody really cared about the laurels. They were still pretty hyped from the no KP for a month, but the activities director still looked pretty proud of himself. And now to address our one housekeeping issue, he pointed to Tyson. This thing was brought in by Naruto Uzumaki, Percy Jackson, and Annabeth Chase. The loud cheers turned to uneasy murmurs. A lot of the campers were glancing at the 3 demigods. Percy and Naruto wanted to kill the dead man. Now, of course, Cyclopes have a reputation of being bloodthirsty monsters. That depends, Naruto cut him off. Are we talking about the rogue Cyclopes or those that work in the underwater forges? Snickers could be heard from the crowd. Tantalus's face twitched, but he regained his composure and cleared his throat. Okay then, since Mr. Uzumaki is suggesting that this Cyclops is tame, perhaps the Hermes cabin would like to take this thing. The 2 cabin counselors gained a sudden interest in the tablecloth. Waiter, add to my words, genius, Naruto said back. Tantalus was about to retort when a bright glowing holographic image appeared on top of the Cyclops head, making the activities director scoot away in surprise. Swirling above Tyson's head was a glowing green trident. There was a moment of awed silence. It was only broken when Tantalus roared in laughter, causing the whole camp to laugh with him. Everyone joined in laughter except Naruto and his friends. Well, I know where to put the beast now. By the gods, I can see the family resemblance, Tantalus said in between fits of laughter. That was it about dinner. All the campers left the dining pavilion for the campfire, but Naruto had other plans. After his secret almost gets revealed, he needed some time to think. Naruto was on his way near the trees to find a good spot to sit when a female voice called out to him. They'll be looking for you at the campfire, you know, Annabeth asked. I could ask you the same question, Naruto said back. Well, Tantalus said something earlier. I remember you pretending to fall asleep when we asked you about it. Was it the same power Grover was scared about when you fought Ares? I'm not getting out of this conversation, huh? Naruto asked. No, you're not, Naruto. Another voice said. This time it was Percy with Tyson tagging along. So, what's the deal with that red energy? I guess it can't be helped, Naruto mumbled. Okay, let's go for a walk. Line break. Somewhere in the woods. So that's it, Naruto finished. Now you know my story. The three demigods and Cyclops were sitting by a tree. Naruto had told him about the nine-tailed fox sealed within him and his horrible childhood. Naruto, I'm sorry, Annabeth wrapped Naruto with a hug. It must have been hard. Yeah, Naruto, Percy added. You're tough for being able to live through that. Naruto's eyes widened. You guys aren't scared of me. Why would we be scared of you? Annabeth let up her hug. Cause the villagers see me as a walking natural disaster ready to explode at any moment, Naruto explained. I was thinking you guys would. Well, those guys are idiots, Percy said. You mean? Yes, Naruto, Annabeth said. We're not as shallow as the villagers. Thanks, guys, Naruto smiled for the first time that night. I guess Talia was right. Sorry for not telling you earlier. That's fine, man. I mean we're walking natural disaster too, right? Percy said. Annabeth nodded. He's right, Naruto. We understand where you're coming from. So, the others will. Annabeth and Percy nodded. So, Annie, could you let up on Tyson? Naruto told the daughter of Athena. I mean, what you're doing to him is pretty much what they did to me back then. Annabeth's voice faltered. Naruto, it's not like I'm asking you to like him right away. At least just give him a chance, Percy added. I suppose, Annabeth said. I'll try. It was Naruto's turn to wrap the daughter of Athena in a hug. Thank you. Percy cleared his throat to break the two from their hug. Well, that's nice and all, but Tantalus is still the new activities director. I know just what to do. An evil smile spread over Naruto's face along with a familiar gleam in his eyes. Why do I get a feeling this isn't going to end well, Annabeth commented. Well, for Tantalus at least, Percy added. I'm going to need Travis and Connor's help, Naruto announced as an evil laugh escaped his lips. Naruto, I worry about you sometimes, Percy said. A few days later. Unlike what Tantalus said, the few days after that were not as torturous as he described them to be. For one, he was too busy constantly looking over his shoulder. He had been extremely paranoid, like every little sound was going to explode on him. He was right to be cautious. Like during the second day of his stay at camp. Flashback. The campers were quite nervous as they woke up, except for a few of the campers, namely Naruto Uzumaki, Connor Stoll, and Travis Stoll. Naruto exited his cabin with a huge smile plastered on his face. The two counselors of the Hermes cabin couldn't stop giggling. Their cabin mates were asking them what was going on. They just waved them off saying, just wait and see. All the campers had woken just as they had done in the past and then made their way to the dining pavilion for breakfast. Only Mr. D was at the head table, along with a few satyrs. I wonder where the old chap is, Mr. D wondered aloud in an uninterested manner. Speaking of the activities director, he woke up later than the campers did. He stood up from the cot that was set up in the room he was sleeping in. He decided to take a shower before heading out. It's not like he was going to eat or anything. As he entered the showers, a chill went up his spine. Why do I have a bad feeling all of a sudden? He thought, but just shrugged it off. Answer: he took his shower like nothing bad was going to happen. We all know something bad is going to happen. When he was done, he wiped his face first, then his body. He looked at his face in the mirror. A look of horror could be seen in his face. At the dining pavilion, the campers were peacefully enjoying their breakfast, when an ear-piercing scream broke the peaceful morning air. The scream came closer as Tantalus approached. As he came within view, a few snickers could be heard from the campers. Tantalus came running into the dining pavilion screaming curses as he approached. He was covered in mossy green paint from head to foot. Even his towel that wrapped his lower body was covered in the paint. In his rush to get to the pavilion to reprimand whoever did this to him, he wasn't able to dress himself. Okay, WHO is the wise guy behind this. Tantalus roared at the campers, though they didn't take him seriously. More snickers could be heard from the crowd. I see. No one is going to confess I see, he roared again. The new activities director started spouting the different forms of torture that he would subject the perpetrator once he found out who did it. He was getting worked up and carried away, causing him to make erratic movements as he narrated the forms of torture. He didn't notice that the towel on his waist was loosening. A few seconds later, the towel on his waist came undone, and he went commando on the whole entire camp. The ladies in the crowd covered their eyes as soon as this happened while the boys looked over in jest. It's a bit on the small side. Someone from the Aries table commented. WHO was. He was about to ask who said that when he noticed a camera perched on the post with the Greek symbol of Eta. He was being broadcasted at Hephaestus TV. That meant his below-average dong was seen by the whole godly world. The thought of that made him faint. The campers roared in laughter after that, even the god of wine let out a few chuckles. End of flashback. Yeah, days after that started just like that, with Tantalus screaming his lungs out or him being humiliated in front of the whole camp. So, Naruto was walking around camp enjoying another awesome day. When he made it to the pier, he saw Annabeth and Percy fighting over something with the latter storming off. Geez, what was that about? Naruto asked Annabeth. Those girls from Aphrodite were making fun of him, Annabeth explained. And you were fighting about that? Naruto asked again. Annabeth shook her head. I tried calming him down, but I guess that just made him mad. What did you say? I told him that it wasn't his fault that he had a monster as his brother, and then he lashed out at me. Oh damn, and here I was telling you to lay off on Tyson. Seems he doesn't accept Tyson as his brother, yet. Yeah. It was quiet for a while, but Naruto decided to change the subject. Those are some awesome chariot designs. He started. Oh thanks, Annabeth said. Percy and I were supposed to use them, but I guess that's not going to happen anymore. Too bad, Naruto said. Speaking of which, are you working on a chariot with anyone as of yet? Annabeth inquired. It kinda slipped my mind with all the pranking we've done. I almost thought you were working with the Hermes cabin. No, we're just working together for the pranks. So, want to work with the Athena cabin? Sure, why not? Cool, let's go over some of the designs. The next couple of days, the blonde duo worked hard on their chariots. Making them was a lot quicker than they both realized. Well, we all know the reason why they finished it quicker than everyone else. Naruto's cage bunch and a hum. So for the remaining days before the race, Annabeth had asked Naruto for some fighting lessons, to which the latter obliged. So, what do we do first? Annabeth asked. Well, first we have to train your body. We'll do basic exercises. Okay. The first exercise they did was some laps around the camp. The first lap they did was easy enough, but in the middle of the second lap, Annabeth started to slow down. Naruto thought that she would be gasping for air by the end of the first one, but Annabeth proved him wrong. The usual training at camp proved to aid him even just a bit. They went on like that for the rest of the morning. Naruto had Annabeth do the basic training exercise that he did at camp. They did some push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and the like. At the end of the routine, Annabeth felt her body give on her. She was exhausted from everything Naruto made her do. Though, he was already going easy on her. Can you keep going? Naruto asked Annabeth. I should be able to. She answered. We'll rest for a bit before we continue. Annabeth sighed in relief. She was trying to act tough in front of Naruto. There's no need to push yourself too hard, Naruto said. You'll get stronger. I know, it's just. Never mind, I'll tell you next time. Okay. An hour later, Annabeth and Naruto moved to the archery range. Fortunately, the archery class was over. The two blondes stood a few feet from one of the targets. What are we doing here? Annabeth inquired. Wait and see, Naruto answered. From his pouch, Naruto brought out a kunai and threw it to the target. The knife hit dead center. Annabeth had stars in her eyes. Naruto, that's amazing. Thanks, Naruto grinned. Watch this. Naruto brought out 6 kunai. He suddenly disappeared. He appeared upside down a few feet above the ground with his arms crossed. He threw the kunai 2 at a time which ricocheted from one another. When he landed, all of the kunai hit their mark, even the targets that were out of the way got hit in the dead center. Wow, you're really good with the knives, Annabeth praised. Not just with the knives, Naruto added. I'm good with bows and basketballs too. Probably because your mother is Artemis. Yep. So what do you want me to do? You're going to practice throwing the kunai. Right. Annabeth picked up a kunai from Naruto's pouch which he left on the ground. Naruto showed her the proper way to hold the kunai and the proper stance when throwing just as they were taught in the academy. This is okay, knives are my specialty. I can do this, the daughter of Athena thought. Annabeth held the knife and aimed for the target. She let the kunai fly. The knife hit just outside the main circle. She frowned. She picked up another one. This time it was a little close. She was getting frustrated. She picked up yet another one. This one was worse than before. Annabeth stomped her feet. Relax, Annabeth, Naruto calmed her down. With a bit of practice, you'll get the hang of it too. Easy for you to say. You're her son, Annabeth argued. Naruto shook his head. Believe it or not, I didn't start out like this. Ask Iruka-sensei. Was he your teacher? Yeah, he was one of the teachers in the academy who never gave up on me. I see. So, get your head up from the dirt and try again. Alright. Answer. Annabeth continued throwing until about 11 o'clock. I think that's enough training for one day, Naruto said. Oh, thank the gods, my arms are getting sore. Annabeth complained. Sorry about that. I didn't push you that hard, did I? Naruto asked with worry. No, I'm okay. You're doing fine. It's just that I'm not used to this kind of training. Annabeth said. You should see my friend, Lee, train. How hard does he train? He does everything we did so far, twice or maybe with 3 times the effort. Maybe even more than that. That hard, huh? Yep. Check this out. Naruto removed one of the weights on his ankles. Try carrying that. Annabeth moved over and tried to pick up the ankle weight. She couldn't even budge it. Heavy, isn't it? Naruto asked. How can you move with that on your feet? Annabeth asked in turn. It takes some getting used to. The first time I wore it when I started training with Lee, I couldn't even move my feet, so they toned it down for me. Will you let me wear something like this too? Yep, I am planning to, but I don't think I would go to the extremes. Oh, thank the gods. They both chuckled. Well, that's our training done. Let's dry this sweat off and take a shower. Naruto said. Sure. A satyr was standing in a dank cave, lit only by torches. The satyr was wearing a wedding that didn't fit him very well. The neckline kept falling off his shoulders, and a tattered veil was covering his face. He was staring in one corner of the cave. 2 boys appeared in the corner the satyr was staring at. The blonde struggled to hold in his laughter when he saw the satyr. Grover, when's the wedding? Not the time, Naruto. The other boy punched the blonde on the shoulder. What's going on? Grover's cheeks reddened a bit. Percy. Naruto. Can you hear me? From behind the boulder covering the cave, a monstrous voice yelled. Honeybee, are you done yet? A little puppy barked in the corner. The satyr flinched. His voice changed to a falsetto. Not quite, dearest. A few more days. Bah, hasn't it been 2 weeks yet? The monstrous voice asked. The puppy continued barking. And no, dearest. Just 5 days. That leaves 12 more to go. Grover stated in the falsetto voice. There was silence from the other end of the boulder. Only the puppy barking could be heard. Grover quietly tried to shush the dog. The dog complied and instead growled. The monster, who struggled to try to do the math, finally said, all right, but hurry. I want to see under that veil, hey. By the way, was that a dog I heard? No, Grover answered. It must have been the wind. The wind can bark. Of course it can. Oh, okay. Hurry up with the veil, hey hey hey. After that, the monster left. Grover sighed in relief, then turned to the two boys he contacted. There was urgency in his voice. You have to help me. No time. I'm stuck in this cave. On an island in the sea. Okay, calm down, Grover. Where are you? Naruto asked. I don't know exactly, Grover answered. I went to Florida, and I turned left. Florida. Left? Percy asked in confusion. Grover didn't answer Percy. Instead, he further explained. You have to be careful. It's a trap. This is the reason no satyr has ever returned from this quest. He's a shepherd, you guys. And he has it. Its nature magic is so powerful it smells just like the great god Pan. The satyrs come here thinking they've found Pan, and they get trapped and eaten by Polyphemus. Polly who? Percy asked again, getting further confused. Geez, Percy. Polyphemus, Naruto emphasized each syllable so the son of Poseidon could understand. He's that Cyclops from the myths. Grover nodded to that. Yeah, him. I almost got away. I made it all the way to St. Augustine. But he followed you. Percy asked, starting to get on the same page. And you got trapped at the bridal boutique. Right. Grover answered. My first empathy link must have worked back then. But you were busy running for your life to notice, Naruto deduced. Yeah, Grover answered. Look, guys, this dress is the only thing keeping me alive right now. He thinks I smell good, but I told him it was just goat-scented perfume. Thank goodness he can't see very well. His eye must have not healed yet from the last time, Naruto muttered. Aha, but it's only a matter of time. He will want to marry me soon. He's starting to get impatient. We'll come to get you, Naruto promised. Percy nodded at Naruto's statement. Where will we find you? In the Sea of Monster, of course. Grover answered. Roll credits. The Sea of WH, Percy tried to say. Got it, Naruto said. The son of Poseidon looked at him oddly. Thanks, guys. Sorry I had to do the empathy link. It was the only way I could contact you. Our emotions are connected now. If I die. No, you won't, Naruto reassured the satyr. We'll come for you. By the way, was that really a dog? Naruto asked. Yep, he found me back at. Grover was about to explain, but the monster returned. Honeybee. The monster bellowed. Dinner time. Yummy yummy sheep. Tell you when you get here. Have to go. Sweet dreams. Don't die. Grover said in a hurry, his voice was getting fainter. Grover, wait. Percy tried to call out, his voice was also getting fainter. Artemis cabin. Naruto woke up in cold sweat just like he did the night before they went back to New York. Another dream, the blonde muttered to himself. I'll have to tell Annabeth. He got up and made his bed. He went directly to the shower. His dream was still bugging him. He was thinking of his satyr friend as he showered until he was getting dressed. As he finished wearing the camp shirt, he sensed a presence at the main door of the cabin. A few seconds later, the presence knocked. Be right there, Naruto shouted as he walked towards the door. He opened the door. Good morning, Naruto. Annabeth greeted. Good morning, Naruto greeted back. So what brings you here? I noticed you weren't up yet. I thought we were going to train early today. So I thought I'd check on you before we had breakfast. Oh, right, sorry. We should rest for today, after all, we're going to have a race. Okay then, is something bothering you? Hey, actually, yeah, come on. I'll walk you to your cabin. I'll tell you on the way. Along the way, Naruto told Annabeth about the dream he had that night. He explained Grover's predicament, and where they could find him. Naruto, the Sea of Monsters is so big, it would take a long time if we would search every inch. Annabeth said. I know, but I have a hunch. Remember the numbers the Grey sisters spouted in the taxi? Yeah, those might be coordinates. I can maybe track the monster cause of my mother, but I'll need help at sea. Seaweed brain. Naruto nodded. At that moment, the door opened. A boy with the same hair and eyes as Annabeth greeted them. Hey, guys, the boy greeted. Hey, Malcolm. Naruto greeted back. Listen, Naruto, the now named Malcolm pulled Naruto close to him. Take care of my sister, okay? You mean at the race? No, it's obvious you guys are getting close to each other and the whole camp's talking. But we're not. Naruto, it's okay. I understand. We understand. Malcolm winked at him. Malcolm. I can hear you know. Annabeth said out loud, her cheeks reddening like a tomato. Call our siblings. Let's go to the dining pavilion. The Athena cabin's second-in-command chuckled, while the cabin counselor grumbled, something about stupid siblings. Of course, she didn't mean that. She's just flustered. Anyways, catch you later Naruto, he beamed. Good luck at the race. You bet. Line break. At the racetrack. Today, it was a hot and humid day for the race. Fog lay low on the ground like the camp was some sort of sauna. Oddly enough, there must have been 1,000 birds roosting on the trees, fat, gray, and white pigeons that didn't COO like regular pigeons. Instead, they made some annoying metallic screeching sound. The racetrack was built on a grassy field between the archery range and the woods. The geniuses at the Hephaestus cabin were able to repair the bulls and use them to plow a track. There were also rows for the spectators, the satyrs, Mr. D, some of the dryads, and all the campers who weren't participating. Oddly enough, Mr. D had woken up to watch the race. According to him, since Chiron wasn't there to play pinochle with, there wasn't anything to keep him busy at this torturous camp, so he'll take any entertainment he can get. Another odd thing was Tantalus wasn't there. The campers positioned their chariots on the track as they waited for the activities director. Charles Beckendorf led the Hephaestus team onto the track. Their chariot was made of bronze and iron, even the horses, which were magical automatons like the Colchis bulls. Being the children of the Smith god, their ride must have been pimped out with different hidden gadgets. The Ares chariot was blooded and pulled by 2 grizzly horse skeletons. Clarice climbed aboard with a batch of javelins, spiked balls, caltrops, and a bunch of other nasty toys. She was followed by Mark, one of her siblings. Apollo's chariot was trim and graceful and completely gold, pulled by 2 beautiful palominos. Their fighter was armed with a bow, though he had promised not to shoot pointed arrows at the opposing drivers. Hermes's chariot was green and kind of old-looking as if it hadn't been out of the garage in years. It didn't look like anything special, but it was manned by the Stoll brothers, so the other charioteers expected some dirty tricks that the brothers had in store. The Athena Artemis chariot was elegant-looking with owl and deer patterns covering it. It was painted gray with silver accents. Manning the chariots were Naruto and Annabeth. A bunch of whispers and giggles could be heard at the stands. Finally, there was the Poseidon chariot to be driven by Percy and Tyson. Percy initially had trouble getting their horses to cooperate since they were scared of the latter. Their chariot was sea green with different sea creatures painted all over and a single trident prominently painted in the middle. The demigods were getting impatient waiting for Tantalus to finally arrive. Poor children were ADHD, to begin with, and he was making them wait. The charioteers were complaining to Mr. D to start the race without him, but the camp director insisted to wait for Tantalus. Percy took a chance to talk to his friends. He too was bothered by Grover hijacking his dream. Naruto, you got Grover's message too, didn't you? Percy inquired. Yeah, we've got to save him no matter what. Naruto declared. Hey seaweed brain, think you can track him at sea? Annabeth asked. You know, Percy asked. Naruto filled me in. To think, Grover was able to contact both of you through the link. That crafty satyr, Annabeth commented. We've got to get a quest. And if Grover's really found that thing, we can save camp to boot. Naruto said. What are we talking about? Percy asked. Annabeth ignored him. Maybe cause he was still mad at him. We must win this race. It might get us in the good graces of Tantalus. Right, Naruto agreed. Not if we beat you. Percy declared. Remember, my dad created the horses. Is that a challenge, water boy? Naruto said, getting competitive. But Aunt Athena created the chariot, so you're only got half the advantage. So do you. Percy countered. Oh yeah, water boy. Think that advantage would help you. Naruto challenged. Yeah, with that dingy thing you made, Percy countered. Hey, Annabeth complained. I'm sure it's way better than that half-assed thing you made, Naruto said. No offense, Tyson. Naruto quickly added. What? Tyson shouted back. He didn't really hear what Naruto said. Nothing. He said back. Both boys stared at each other, neither of them backing down. A few seconds later, the 2 boys both laughed out loud. Kidding aside, good luck Percy. Naruto held his fist in front of Percy. Good luck Naruto. Percy bumped his own fist on Naruto's. May the best charioteer win. For Grover, Naruto added. Percy nodded. For Grover. Annabeth walked towards them, bumped her own fist on the boys. For Grover. Their moment was broken by the sound of someone's wet shoes squeaking as he walked. All the campers looked in the direction they heard it. It was Tantalus. He was still colored mossy green from the shower prank, but now he was drenched from head to toe with water. Right, he started. For today, I will forgive the prankster, whoever you are, for placing my bed in the middle of the lake, because today is the debut of the reinstatement of one of this beloved camp's traditions. Charioteers, to your marks, Tantalus announced. Catch you later, guys, Percy said, to which his two friends nodded. Hey Percy, Naruto called out. Don't try too hard. You know we're going to win. Percy chuckled. Right back at ya. The chariots lined up. More of the weird birds gathered in the woods. Their horrible screeching was so loud now that the campers were starting to take notice. Obviously, the activities director wasn't concerned about this. Attend to your marks. Tantalus's voice strained as it competed with the birds. At the wave of his hands, the chariots roared to life. Hooves thundered against the dirt and the crowd cheered. Almost immediately, the Apollo chariot flipped over. Apparently, the Hermes chariot had rammed into the Apollo chariot. Only the gods knew if it was intentional or not. The riders were thrown free from the chariot, but the horses dragged it diagonally across the track. The Stoll brothers were laughing at the Apollo kids' misfortune when their own misfortune struck. The Apollo horses crashed into theirs, making the Hermes chariot flip too. There were already 2 accidents in the first 20 feet of the race. This didn't bode well. At that time, the Poseidon chariot was pulling ahead of the Ares chariot. They were beside the Hephaestus chariot, who engaged them in contact. Way ahead of the other chariots, the Athena Artemis chariot barreled along with Annabeth driving and Naruto blocking a sword swipe from Mark. The weird pigeons decided to take this moment to rise from the trees. They somehow formed a tornado and were heading towards the track. The charioteers made the first turn. Percy and Tyson were now somehow within 10 feet of Annabeth and Naruto. Hi Annabeth. Hi Naruto. Tyson waved his stick at them. Hey big guy. Naruto greeted back. Annabeth was concentrated on the track to answer. Or maybe he was still afraid of Tyson, who knows. Tyson used his pole to push aside the Athena chariot. Sorry. He apologized. Naruto parried the pole with a kunai and swatted it aside. Not quite, Tyson. The big guy was about to try again when a scream came from the Hephaestus chariot. They were mobbed by the birds. Beckendorf's brother tried to fight back, but he couldn't see anything. They veered off course and plowed over the strawberry fields. Stymphalian birds. Annabeth yelled. They'll strip everyone to the bone. Focus on the race. Naruto ordered. I'll take care of the birds. Annabeth nodded. The blonde shinobi decided to tell the horses to trust in him as well. They were getting through this. Naruto took out a single shuriken and threw it. It was bronze in color. He crossed his fingers to his chest. Shuriken Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 1 shuriken turned to 2, then to 4. The kunai continued multiplying until there were 100. A bunch of the birds started to drop down dead, killing most of them. Archers. Naruto shouted. The Apollo kids managed to pick up the bows and fire away at the birds, thinning their flock, but there was a substantial amount of birds left flying over the campus. The 3 remaining chariots were now head-to-head at the final stretch of the track. Each of the fighters trying to fend off the birds. One of the birds made a mistake of dive-bombing the camp director, knocking the Diet Coke from his hand. Mr. D got really pissed. Seriously, some flock birds ruin my quiet time. He snapped his fingers and a lot of the birds started to drop dead. Sorry guys, Naruto shouted. After a blur of hand signs, Naruto slammed his hand on the chariot floor. Kuchio's no jutsu, he shouted. A small toad appeared which he picked up. Please distract them, he told the toad in his native language. Be careful, they're armed. Did you just talk to that toad? Annabeth asked. Yep, they can understand us, Databio. Naruto explained. The toad jumped over to the chariot next to them. It was the Ares chariot. The toad landed conveniently on Claris's hand, startling her. What the? The daughter of Ares tried to shake the toad of her hand, but it was sticking to it very well. In an effort to get rid of it, she managed to yank her rope to the left, making their chariot skid into the Poseidon chariot. The toad, then, jumped on. Hey, he complained. Get it off me. Claris took Mark's sword and tried to smack the toad off of his head. With perfect timing, the toad jumped, causing Claris to smack her partner with the flat of the sword. She probably did it too hard, because her partner got dizzy and fell off the chariot. The toad, that landed just behind the skeleton horses. It turned to Clarice and sprayed some water on her, causing her to fly off the chariot. That left the toad to deal with the horses. Meanwhile, with the two remaining chariots, the finish line was getting close. The Poseidon chariot was beginning to pull ahead when the toad from earlier jumped into their chariot, startling Tyson. He threw quite the fit, jumping up and down. This made their chariot tip over just in time for Athena chariot to break the ribbon, crowning them the winners. With the race done, Naruto jumped off his chariot, getting ready to finish off the stragglers. Kaiten, Gokaku no Jutsu. He shouted and blew a large fireball, scorching most of the birds that the Apollo kids weren't able to hit. It was only a matter of time for them to finish off the rest. Bravo, Tantalus said when he saw that the race was finished after chasing some food. We have our first winners. Yes, well, hurrah and all that. Mr. D said, the boredom still in his voice. He awarded golden laurels to Naruto and Annabeth. Percy managed to get up after getting thrown off his chariot. Tantalus saw him and said, and now to punish the troublemakers. While he was busy looking at Percy, Naruto threw one of the birds at him without him knowing. Help! They're still here, he shouted as he ran like a madman, running away from the birds that only he could see. Is it me, or is something cooking? Someone in the crowd said. After lunch, Percy was with Tyson washing dishes. They were sentenced to kitchen duty because of the bad chariot racing, as Tantalus had put it. It didn't help his case when he answered back sarcastically. Making things worse was the extra plates they had to do, since the new activities director ordered a special luncheon buffet for the winners. So, there they were scrubbing the dishes when Naruto and Annabeth came to them. Need help? Naruto offered. Won't Tantalus look for you guys? Percy asked. Naruto's got that covered, Annabeth answered. Clones, Percy said. You got it. Naruto grinned. So, what were you guys talking about before the race? The thing Grover found, Percy asked. The golden fleece, Naruto answered. Don't spoil him, Annabeth scolded. I was going to make him guess. Hey, sorry. Naruto apologized. I give up. How's that going to help? Percy asked, still confused at what they were talking about. Annabeth sighed. Do you even know the story of the golden fleece? You should just tell him. I doubt he remembers. Naruto chuckled. Hey, Percy tried to protest Naruto's teasing, but Annabeth scolded him. Just listen. This is the real story of the fleece. There were these two children of Zeus, Cadmus and Europa, okay. They were about to get offered up as human sacrifices, but they prayed to Zeus to save them. So, Zeus sent this magical flying ram with golden wool, which picked him up in Greece and carried him all the way to Colchis in Asia Minor. Well, actually it carried Cadmus. Europa fell off and died along the way, but that's not important. It was probably important to her. Percy cut in. Shut up, Percy. Let her explain. Naruto scolded. Thank you, Naruto. Well, Cadmus got to Colchis. He sacrificed the golden ram to the gods and hung the fleece in a tree in the middle of the kingdom. The fleece brought prosperity to the land. Animals stopped getting sick. Plants grew better. Farmers had bumper crops. Plagues never visited. That's why Jason wanted the fleece. It can revitalize any land where it's placed. It cures sickness, strengthens nature, cleans up pollution. It could cure Talia's tree. Percy realized. Bingo. Finally, you get it. Naruto cheered. Anyway, the fleece wouldn't only cure Talia's tree. It can give the borders a major power boost. That must be why Grover found it, Percy said. It radiated so much nature energy that he thought it was Pan. This is perfect, we'd be hitting two birds with one stone. Annabeth nodded. Yeah, but just like Naruto told me earlier, there's the Cyclops guarding Grover and the fleece. We'll manage. If Jason could do it, we can too. Naruto told his friends. You don't think this is a trap by Crow, I mean the Titan Lord, Annabeth said. We can't let Talia die for good and we have to save Camp and Grover, the blonde shinobi argued. Naruto's right, Percy said. So where do we start looking? Grover told us, didn't he? Naruto answered his clueless friend. Yeah, but where is the Sea of Monsters? The son of Poseidon inquired. Annabeth sighed. Think, Percy. The Sea of Monsters was in the Mediterranean when Jason and his crew traveled it. So, when the gods migrated to the Americas. Percy was in thought. Where would you hide a sea full of monsters? Percy, you know that large patch of sea off the coast of Florida. The place where there was an unusually high number of disappearances. The Bermuda Triangle. Exactly. The two blondes said. So all we need to do is ask for a quest, Percy said. He won't listen to you if you ask, but maybe Naruto and me. Annabeth said. And we should tell him in front of everybody. That way, he won't have a chance to disagree. Let's hurry up and finish, I gotta tell Talia. Naruto quickly began washing the plates, ignoring the shocked looks of his friends as he dipped the plates in lava without flinching. One of Hephaestus' workshops. Hestia walked in hoping to find her nephew working at this particular one. Rows of unfinished projects littered the floor. A low hum could be heard from deeper within the shop. Sitting on the workbench was a huge man with his shoulders at different heights so that he always seems to be leaning on a huge, bulging, misshapen head. His leg was in a creaking steel brace. He had bushy eyebrows and a wild brown beard. I'm glad I found you here, nephew, Hestia said. To what do I owe this visit from my aunt? Hephaestus asked. I'm sure you have sensed the presence of another fire user who is not one of your children, Hestia told the smith god. Hephaestus hummed. You mean Artemis boy? Hestia nodded. I hope you don't mind him using our element. I guess that is fine, he's not using it to cause trouble, is he? No, not at all. In fact, I have made him my champion. Champion, you say? Yes, in addition to that, I have given him my blessing, so I can vouch for him. I suppose I can give him a pass as long as he uses his gifts for the glory of the gods. Thank you for that. I shall take my leave then. This boy, I can feel he has gifts for water as well. Yes, I shall speak to Poseidon about this. With him being his son's friend, I have high hopes for this. I see, farewell, then. Hestia nodded then disappeared. Talia's limbo. Just like Naruto said, he went directly to see Talia just like he always did these past days. He had agreed with Percy and Annabeth to speak up to Tantalus about the Golden Fleece after the sing-along, but that wasn't for much later. Right now, he was busy trying to ease Talia off her pain. Feel better? Naruto asked. Yes, even just a little, Talia answered. You don't have to keep doing this, you know. If it's for my friend, I'd gladly do it over and over. The daughter of Zeus smiled. So, I heard you won the chariot races. Yep, but not without the demon pigeons attacking. Sorry about that, if only I could. Naruto cupped her cheek. Shush, it's not your fault. It's the poison's fault. Thank you. Talia held onto Naruto's hand. There was silence after that. Guess what? Naruto spoke up. Grover found a way to save you and camp. Talia was surprised by the news. Really? That brave little goat? Yes, he managed to find the Golden Fleece. The blonde continued. There's just one problem, his voice trailed off. He's getting married. What? Talia had a dumbfounded look on his face. Yes, it's true. Naruto nodded. Grover's getting married. Talia couldn't believe it. Yes, that's what I said. With who? With Polyphemus the Cyclops. Talia's mouth hung wide open. When she got over the shock, she said, come on, be serious. This is Grover we're talking about. The Cyclops thinks he's a female Cyclops. That's the only thing keeping him alive. What are the odds? Talia managed. Oh gods, you've got to save him. Naruto nodded. We're asking for a quest to save him and retrieve the fleece. We're probably leaving tomorrow. I probably won't. It's okay, I will manage. A conch horn blew in the distance signaling dinner time. I better go. Naruto's voice trailed off. Be careful, Talia said. You better come back with Grover. That's the plan. Naruto grinned with his thumb up. Before Naruto could go, Talia rushed over and kissed Naruto on the cheek. For good luck. The blonde was at a loss for words. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.